My name is Lexi Rasmussen. I'm an associate consultant in the business transformation practice, and I'm located in St. Paul, Minnesota. So applying for jobs straight out of college can be tricky, right? You're so excited, you see all these openings, but then you click into them, and for an entry-level position, it says required 3 to 5 years of experience, right? So what I like about Infor's early talent program and what originally attracted me is the fact that it's tailored to college kids who are fresh out of college and are coming in with little to no experience. And not only in the way that the requirements are set up, but the way that training is set up. You know, you come in, you're in about 3 to 4 months of intense classroom training, and then you're able to shadow and gain experience from mentors and just really get that project experience. And I just like the way that it's set up because it's able to ease the transition from being in college to the professional world. And I think just the way that the early talent program is set up is it gives opportunities for college kids to really jumpstart their careers. And that's really what attracted me to the early talent program. Yeah, so the early talent onboarding experience was a lot of fun. The first 2 weeks, I got to fly out to Dallas for just a general overview of Infor as a company, the services we offer, the different industries we have, and just we got to really dive deep into Infor as a company and then Coke as a whole. And not only that, but I think those first 2 weeks were really important for networking and, building connections. We got to really get to know our cohort members who were going through the same thing as us. We're all fresh out of college. We're all a little bit scared. For a lot of us, this is our first job. So just really getting to build those connections and network with people all across the cohort, and then also leaders. We got to speak to a lot of leaders and, other people who had been in the early talent program cohorts previous to us. So just really those networking opportunities were probably my favorite part of the experience. And then once we got back from those first 2 weeks, we got to dive into our practice specific training. So I got to dive into my OCM work and, got to meet amazing people from my practice who flew in to train us, which is great because I got to start building those connections early so that if later on, I'm put in on a project with some of those people in my practice, I already have that connection built. So overall, really good opportunity, really good experience to be in the early talent onboarding. And I made a ton of great connections and really enjoyed my time those first few months. My most memorable experience so far was definitely the first project I was put on. So straight out of training, I was put on a communications and engagement project for 8 months. And just thinking back to the growth that happened over those 8 months on the project, I think is the most memorable thing for me. So I think back to that first client meeting when I was super nervous and didn't know if I had the confidence to be able to lead that meeting. And then looking back to my final client meeting at the end of the project and how relaxed and comfortable I was and how I had built, so much rapport and such a good relationship with the client, being able to look back and see the growth over those 8 months, I think was definitely the most memorable experience for me. And it's something that, that first project, it's always going to hold a special place in my heart. So I'd say that's definitely my most memorable experience, getting that first project opportunity and seeing the growth that happened across that. The early talent program has helped with my professional development in a lot of ways. So throughout training and throughout this past year being on projects and getting that experience, I've been able to hone in on a lot of those professional skills, such as public speaking, such as just the general methodology of my practice, and then skills needed to be an efficient consultant. So, having those active listening skills and being able to ask the appropriate follow-up questions when you're with clients. Those are all things that I've been able to hone in on this first year. And being able to really work on those skills and improve in a lot of ways, I think has just helped boost my confidence in general. And I just, thinking back to me as a consultant now compared to when I was just starting off in the early talent program, again, just have built so much confidence. And I think in a lot of ways, being in this program and being on projects, it's pushed me out of my comfort zone a lot. And that's just given me a space where I've been able to grow and develop a lot of those skills that maybe coming in I was lacking a little bit. So definitely grateful for the early talent program and being able to professionally develop in a lot of different ways. And, I'm looking forward to furthering that as I continue on my career here. My biggest advice would be to lean on the people around you. So the transition from college to the professional world can be really difficult at times. And to focus on building those connections and building those relationships with people who are going through similar things as you, I think is really important because as you're making those adjustments from college to the professional world, it helps to have people around you who are going through that same thing. And so my biggest advice is to lean on those relationships, put emphasis on building those so that you have people who can support you and then others can lean on you for support as well. Because, I think back to my first year here and my cohort members, and I think we were kind of like one big family. We really leaned on each other in a lot of different ways, and we were there for each other. And I've built connections with my cohort that I know will last for years to come. So super important part, and that's definitely my biggest advice. Just really lean into those relationships that you build within the company.